Common information security countermeasures. Now, security policies, they come down from the CISO or executive management saying, here's what we want done. Here's what you can and cannot do. And those policies will be turned into procedures where appropriate. But this is executive management's view, their way of dictating things, saying this is what we like. Contingency planning. Something goes wrong, here's what we're going to do. Disaster recovery is an example of contingency planning. Incident response. Know what to do before it happens. Then respond according to the plan. The plan isn't always going to be perfect. It may be flawed. You may have to make some stuff up as you go along, but hopefully that's little and far between. Hopefully the plan is decent enough. And remember, after the event, you can always modify your plan to incorporate the lessons learned. But it should be a good guideline to work from. Training and awareness. If people know the right thing to do, they generally do it. If your users understand the reason for security, they usually want to see it done. And they'll usually let people know to stop doing what they're doing if they're doing the wrong thing. They see someone violating policy, they'll usually say, hey, don't do this. Don't want you getting in trouble. They watch out for each other. That's fine. That's good. They're providing benefit to you. Access control. It could be smart cards, could be passwords, it could be permission structures. And I don't care if we're looking at Novell permissions, Windows NTFS permissions, we're looking at Unix permissions. These are all access controls. Physical security. If someone can't gain physical access, they can't do harm. If the doors are locked, they're not getting in. Windows are closed, they're not crawling in. You have a cement floor, they're not going to tunnel in. Physical fences, walls, guards are physical security controls. Personnel security, hiring good people, doing a background check, a credit check, education, certification check, drug screening before they're hired. Maybe, if you can, check with their previous employers and references. During their time of employment, renew the security background check, drug screens. In certain industries, you're going to do more background checks. You're going to do financial checks. And when they leave the company, either through voluntary termination or being terminated by management, recover the company property. Remind them of the non-disclosure they signed. And if appropriate, bring up the non-compete. Risk assessment, do a risk assessment. Find the threats that are there. Find your vulnerabilities. See if those threats can exploit those vulnerabilities, the likelihood of it happening, and what the impact would be. Then determine what controls you want, what safeguards to keep it from happening, and what countermeasures to minimize the impact when it does happen. Identification, authentication, and authorization. Identification is someone stating who they are, generally no proof. Your username is identification. Doesn't prove who you are. Your password authenticates the username. The PIN code on your smart card authenticates the username. Remember, username is just stating who you are, no proof. Authentication, proving identity. Authorization, being allowed access. Just because someone is authenticated does not mean they're authorized. You log on at 10 in the morning. Not a problem. You can access system resources. You log on at 10 at night. System has a policy having log-on hour restrictions. Too late. You're known. You entered a good username and password, but you're denied. So you can be authenticated but not authorized. Encryption. Beautiful, beautiful. Encryption keeps your data safe from prying eyes. Over the wire, someone sniffs your traffic, they can't read it. At rest, someone hacks into your database. They can't make sense of the data. California, New York, 36 other states have passed laws dealing with encryption of databases and PII, personally identifiable information. If you encrypt it, no duty to disclose a breach because it's assumed that bad guys never got the actual data. Any company that does not encrypt is saying, please make me liable. Perimeter protection. And we got both logical and physical. Fences and walls, cameras on the physical side. On the logical side, IDS, firewall, We got a router with an access control list, an ACL. Okay. And right under perimeter protection, we have IDS, IPS. IDS is looking for the bad guys on the inside, usually intrusion detection system, generally a passive device, doing logging and alerting, letting you know about threats. Could be host or network based. The IPS, intrusion prevention or protection system, generally prevention, is looking for the bad guys coming in from the outside and seeking to stop them. It takes active measures. It can drop their connection. Just drop them off. Block their connection. Block their IP address, or it can shun their connection. Block the protocol they're using so they can't come in on that protocol, no matter what IP address. An extreme measure, but very effective. And then finally, antivirus, anti-spyware. Because the bad guys are out there, they will do harm. They will seek to do things that are absolutely awful and evil to your systems, and you need to protect yourself. And remember, antivirus's primary role is to be a preventative control. You stop the bad guys. You stop them from getting their stuff on your system.